This is a demonstration of the Urban Forest Metrix system, a simplified enterprise system for tree services, to do tree inventories, to do speccing of work to be done, proposals, and the management of all of that. And it operates both in the field and in the back office. So we have a computer interface and we have an iPad interface. And we'll show both on the computer here for simplicity. This system that we're showing here is working on the cloud right now. In other words, the data you see here is actually up on the internet, and anyone can use it all at the same time. There are other ways of deploying it. You can actually have it on your iPad or on your computer, but for simplicity's sake for this demonstration, we're doing the cloud implementation here, which would be very similar to how it's done with the old ArborPlus system and a few others in the industry. So the way that this is set up is that you have a list of clients, and you can just really quickly create a new client too. And within each of those clients, you have a set of trees, and within each of those trees there are maybe services that are recommended to be done or need to be done for those. So that's the information hierarchy. It's clients and then trees and then a bunch of stuff under the trees, like services that need to be done. And you can keep track of whether they're done. Have they been invoiced? Has that invoice been paid? All that kind of good stuff. So the system, we mentioned, works both on your mobile device, if it's an iPad or iPhone, and on the computer. So we're going to show you how you would do this. We'll take the example of someone being sent out to a potential new customer, right in the field, creating the new customer, noting what work needs to be done, creating a proposal, sending the proposal, and then we'll pretend to be on the back end where we're assigning that work to be done, seeing that it has been done, invoicing, and that sort of stuff. That'll be what we show. So what we start off with, here's the iPad or iPhone interface, and you'll see that we're clicking on the location button up here. It shows the location screen. And we can immediately just create a new client. And I'm going to call this client Ms. Jones. And now we've created Ms. Jones. And we can put in more information, the site, address, billing address, all sorts of stuff, notes about Ms. Jones. I can type in a postal code and it will automatically fill in the city and province or state. But we don't need to do any of that. We can just go out and put in Ms. Jones in and then jump into doing the tree work, which is often what we'll wind up doing. So to do that, we jump over to the tree screen. And this might be a little intimidating at first because there's just a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of stuff on there because, well, it's a pretty comprehensive application. And once people get used to it, they like to have everything in one place so that they can just click on the right tab, put in the information without having to navigate around a lot. So here, we start off automatically at the Ms. Jones client, tree number 1. A new tree has automatically been created. And I might be setting up a couple or 3 or 6 trees and noting different services for each tree. That would be a pretty intense proposal. Or if this is a very prospective client, I'm not sure we're going to get the business, I might frankly be a little lazier and just put all the services underneath one tree just so I can pump out an estimate and not do essentially a tree inventory in the course of putting together this proposal. The system is quite flexible. You can do one or the other. We can get into a very highly detailed inventory of trees with pictures and pictures of the particular place where we would do each service, or we can be very general. And I'll show both examples. With this tree, let's say it's a Rocky Mountain maple, 12-inch DBH. I'm just going to add a couple services, picking them randomly. We're going to do a cabling. We're going to charge $67 and write a note. Any of these notes, if I'm on an iPad, can be voice notes. I can just, on the keyboard, click the microphone and it will listen to me and type in whatever I'm saying, which is kind of cool. With pictures, it will pull up the camera if I'm on the iPad. If I'm on the computer, I can just grab an image that I happen to have and stick it in there. It's really nice with the iPad or iPhone where you just touch that square, camera comes up, take a picture of it. So if you're trimming a limb or showing an example of an infestation, it'll really make it really quick and slick to get the picture in the right place. And these show up on the proposal too. So I'll just do one more service. I'm going to say it's brush chipping, again, a note, maybe a cost, and maybe even another picture. I'll just pick some random other picture. A raccoon, there you go. So that's how we would create services. I can create more trees by just clicking on the plus button up here. And I'm going to create another tree and add one more service. So that's going to be a tree removal. And I might take a picture of the tree just to make sure that they removed the right one. And there's a squirrel. All right. So we can put in a lot more information about these trees. If we're doing more of a consultation project and looking at, say, the risk assessment conditions, things like that, then we might be filling out a lot of these things. But more often than not, you're not. You're just jumping into one particular thing, trying to put a price to it, moving on. We have these other tabs where you can get into specific conditions about the different parts of the tree, or you can do full-on risk assessments. The whole track system is in here. Plant healthcare, note conflicts, do appraisals. There's a lot of stuff in there, but you never need to go there until you need it. So we're going to go ahead and just pump out this proposal for Ms. Jones. So I go back to the location screen, and you notice when we first created Ms. Jones, we were talking about the information about Ms. Jones, and we ignored this part down here. Well, now we're going to concentrate here. This is the proposal section, where I can go ahead and take all the things that I've been proposing for those individual trees, or across the whole site on one theoretical tree, and click this button. It says Tasks to Proposal, and it's going to show all the things that I've just recommended. Do I want to stick them on a proposal? I can exclude one if I don't want it. And I go ahead and create what is now a proposal. And when I select it, you see these different items, and you see what the status is and what the price is. And I can go ahead and output this right away into a proposal. I can view it, email it, or print it. And you can have a printer in your truck, just one of those AirPrint printers. You can go directly from your device, give people a hard copy, or you can just ask for their email address and just do this. I click on this button. It's going to open up an email, and there it is, the proposal that I just created. I'm going to save that to my desktop so I can open it up. And here is the proposal. And it shows the pictures that I stuck in and the prices and the notes. And it may even show a map. Now this one doesn't show a map because we didn't put in any location information in, so there is no map. That's another thing. We have a mapping demonstration that you can go and look at, and that's actually a really nice feature for proposals, because for whatever reason, clients are maybe more than reasonably impressed when a map is included in the proposal and it shows which tree is what number, and then you can link it to tree number 2, it's going to be removed, tree number 1 is going to have these 2 services. It looks pretty professional. So I'm going to quit that, hide that, and now we have this proposal. It's been given to the client by email or on paper, or maybe they're even standing right next to you and they want to sign it right there. You can do that. You see how it says approved now? I can select that and it will pull up a signature box. If this were on an iPad, it would actually take up the entire screen. There'd be a line with an X and you could use your finger to sign it, and it will save a graphic of that signature right here. But since I'm on a computer and it doesn't have a touch screen, here I'm just going to type in my initials, say yes, I'm verifying that this is approved. I click the approved, and boom, now it's no longer in the proposed tab, it's in the approved proposal tab. So now we have this approved proposal. This is work that can be done. I can be assigned this work, go out to the Mrs. Jones client, look it up right here, and then click on the details for this particular task and note that yes, it's done or it's not. So here I just marked it as done, yes. So now we actually have me having done that brush chipping. So this becomes an invoiceable task. So that's how quick it is. Some other things to note are that we will very likely be doing a lot of this functionality back at the office. So once the proposal goes out, the tracking of that to make sure that someone has approved or not approved that proposal, assigning it to someone, all that kind of stuff typically happens on the computer at the office. So we have some similar interfaces that are more designed to take advantage of the big screen on the computer. So I go ahead and click on this biz icon, and it shows me a list of the clients in the system. And here's the Ms. Jones ones that we just created. I'll click on that. And here we have the client details screen. It'll show a map, well, if we've put in the location information. It shows the proposals. Here are the estimates that are out, which is anything that's been proposed. Production is stuff that has been approved and is supposed to be done. And then completed are the things that have actually been done. This shows all the different services within those proposals. So you can kind of have different filtered views of all of the work. Now, what we often will want to do in the back end here is define who's supposed to go out and do this work. So I go over here to the scheduling feature, and this shows all of the work broken out right now. It's sorted by which client has which proposals. And you see how this is blank, this assigned to field for this particular Ms. Jones assignment. So I'm going to assign that to admin. I happen to be logged in as admin here, and I'm going to assign it to today's date. So now, when I open up my version of Urban Forest Metrix and it communicates with the cloud, it's going to tell me, here's the stuff you need to do, this one right here. In fact, if I sort the assignment schedule here by the team that's assigned it, I'm going to see here's the 3 different assignments that I've been assigned to do and the dates I'm supposed to be doing them, what are the tasks involved, any notes, things like this. So this is a very simple way of noting what I need to do as a person coming into the system. So a couple other things to go over. There's also a financial component to this. So if I get a payment for that invoice that we've sent out, or let's go to invoices first. So I'm going to go to this financial section of the Ms. Jones details page. When I click on that, we'll see here that we have invoices and payments. Now this shows the amount of stuff that is to be done, what's been invoiced, what hasn't been invoiced, what's been done, what hasn't been. And I have these 2 different buttons here. I can invoice the entire proposal, even though not all of it's been done, or I can invoice just the done stuff. I just marked one of those tasks as done. So it shows me that $566 is invoiceable. So I could just invoice that, or maybe for this particular client, you're just going to invoice everything at once up front. There's going to be different circumstances for different clients, so you have that flexibility. I'm just going to do everything. I'm going to say create an invoice for everything. It just created that invoice. If I click on it, it'll show me the details. I can go back here. Now, let's say we send that out. We can email it directly from here too, or print them all out in a batch. Let's say we get a payment for that invoice. I will go ahead and add a payment. You see the new payment down here. Now, we invoice $1,277, but let's say that we get $1,200 for some reason. I'm going to go ahead and assign this payment to a particular outstanding invoice. There it goes. So now we show that we have a payment, but this is still in the unpaid invoices because it hasn't been completely paid. And you see how the total due now is $77. Now if I get another payment for $77, I can assign it to that invoice, and now that invoice is going to show up as paid, 0 balance due, and I see these 2 payments here. So this can keep track of a very complex set of overpayments, underpayments, multiple payments. You might have one payment that pays for several different invoices, and all of that is kept track of here. And of course, we can create reports from this that you can then enter into your financial package, whatever that may be. And that is the system generally. Feel free to contact us with any specific questions. You will note that the system is very comprehensive. There's no application out there that is more comprehensive than this, so it can be a little complex. It also means that we have fields in here that you'll never use, and we also may have fields that are missing here that you need because you do a special kind of work, or do it in a different way, or a different order. You need certain kinds of reports, and we do all of that customization. We will handle that. We do it very quickly. We typically have a 1 or 2 day turnaround to make some fairly major changes to work the way your company works, which is a bit of a difference with us. So feel free to contact us. Along with the links, you'll see email, telephone, give us a call directly. We're happy to talk, give you a personalized demo. And thank you for watching.